Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Heat Vision podcast. I got myself Hector and my boy Javi and Mario.
What's up?
And yeah, we're going to be reviewing Black Panther. But before we get into that, as always, there will be spoilers. If you guys are new, this podcast, we mostly talk about spoilers and anything that we want to talk about, go in depth or whatever. And make sure you guys follow our socials at Heat Vision Podcast. You guys can listen to us anywhere on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get into it. And I first want to say when the trailer first dropped. Do you remember when the trailer dropped off?
The trailer dropped legit the same day we recorded the podcast where we went over Phase 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah, weren't we talking about it in the podcast, right?
We were like, "Oh, the Black Panther trailer dropped today, too."
Yeah. And watching that, I remember I was watching it, man. When I first saw that trailer, bro, I had like goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
I had goosebumps. I was like, "Yo, this is gonna be dope. Like, it's gonna be so. This is gonna be it." Did you guys have the same? Do you guys have the same thoughts?
So for me, bro, with the Black Panther
what'd you think?
sequel, I was worried as to what they were going to do with the movie, considering Chadwick Boseman's passing. I was going to see what were they going to do in this movie going forward after the tragedy that happened. Mm-hmm. So the thoughts going through my head were like, are they going to do like a Fast and Furious type thing? Like where Paul Walker's not dead, but he's like...
They CGI'd him type thing?
No. Like the movie's after where he's like off screen. He's at the house because he's retired from that life, but he's like alive in spirit or some shit, and then he's just like over there. Yeah. Or are they going to incorporate his death into the movie? Is he going to be killed off screen? Are they going to like make up some story about how he fought in battle, like he sacrificed his life?
Right.
So I was like, what are they going to do? So the trailer showed that they're going to go in the direction of we're going to canonically kill off T'Challa.
Yep.
So that, because we can't just be like, oh, he's alive.
No, yeah.
But you can't bring Chadwick Boseman in because he passed away. And they decided, Kevin Feige decided that they did not want to recast him. Yeah. They wanted to keep him the same. So,
which is the smartest thing. Yeah. That was smart to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. For me, it's weird. It's like, what's the metric for recasting people? Like, what is it? Because they recasted Hulk back then.
Who else did they recast?
William Hurt passed away. He played Thunderbolt Ross, and it revealed that Harrison Ford has been cast as the recast of Thunderbolt Ross for the Thunderbolts movie. Mm-hmm. So, like, my thing is like, what's the metric? Like, how do you decide who gets recasted and who doesn't?
I think
that's my thing. It's like Star Wars. It's like, they're like, we can't just recast OG characters. Let's bring back Mark Hamill and de-age him. And then Solo comes out and they're like, oh, but sometimes we can. It's like, well, just make up your mind. Like, which is it? So my thing is like, how does he decide what gets the recast treatment, what doesn't?
I think I have an idea, bro. And it's gonna sound, wait, are we past a minute?
We've been past
a minute? Okay, it's gonna sound fucked up.
I completely forgot to give you a thumbs up.
Come on, man.
I was totally in.
Hey, man.
I'm thinking about what Javi's saying. I was like,
hey, well, let's let the viewers, let's let the listeners know the small community that we have, man. Javi reminded me that the whole. Jav, can you say that real quick again?
So
for the listeners.
So basically, YouTube has like these like guidelines that we're supposed to follow, obviously, right? If you want to upload videos and stuff, and we're still a small channel. We don't have a huge following.
But it was growing. It's growing slowly.
It is.
I appreciate you guys.
But as of right now, we don't have a really big community. We don't have that many subscribers, that many views. So therefore, our channel is not at the level where we can monetize these videos. We're not making money from these videos. For right now, we're just kind of making them for fun. However, if we ever reach the level where our videos can now be monetized based on viewer count, subscriber count, and all the necessary requirements, one of the things that one of the requirements for every YouTube video that we upload is that there cannot be any swearing or cussing in the first 60 seconds, like legit the first minute of your video. Otherwise, your video, the rest of the video, whether it be a 2-hour review on Batman or whatever, gets completely demonetized. And you can't put like a You can't request an appeal or nothing like, oh, this is bullshit. No, like YouTube's like, sorry. Advertisers don't like when they're swearing in the first minute of your video. It's just simple as that. We can't run ads and we can't monetize you, blah, 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 and all that shit. So that's why.
And we're thinking ahead in case, right? In case
we ever
like
reach
you said,
we ever reach that point.
And people want to look back at these reviews, right? Or these podcasts. So. But yeah, Mario, come on, man, get on that, man. I was just really struggling.
Yeah, but you should have known it's been past the minute.
I wanted to keep it safe. Yeah. I wanted to keep it safe. But anyways, now we good. We're back to the regular program, right? So what I'm gonna say,
fuck all this.
But yeah, for real. No, but what I'm gonna say is fucked up.
Oh, the whole recasting shit?
The whole recasting shit. And you said what you say is true. Who decides that recasting? Because they did it with, you said, Thunderbolt, and they did with the Hulk and stuff. Well, the Hulk, I guess he passed away?
No, the actor's
still alive.
Okay.
The
actor's...
So it was
the OG actor is coming out in Knives Out too.
Okay, so it was just Thunderbolt that you said
where he passed away and got recasted.
Right, right. So I think the reason why they did it with this person is because he really was like a really main character and a very popular character. Right. He literally left a big impact on a lot of people. And he was a very, very popular character, bro. Like, everybody loved him. Everybody knew him. He was just... That's just kind of the reality, right? Like, if you think about it, how many people right now are passing away, and yet we don't really care? But if a celebrity dies, oh, my condolences everywhere, right? So it's just a popularity thing, man. I know that's fucked up. Rest in peace to his name, the dude who played Thunder. Hurt? Yeah, rest in peace, right? But it's just a popularity thing. Black Panther was just so popular and stuff, and I think that's the reason, bro. I think truly that might be the reason. And I think if in the future, like if we ever have a main character like that and in these big projects, if they pass, I feel like that's what they're gonna do from now on. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll recast them. You know what I mean? I don't think so. But yeah. Okay, so that's what you noticed from the trailer. You were like, that's what you were wondering what was going to happen.
And so they went in the direction where they're going to canonically kill off T'Challa in the
MCU. Did you get any like goosebumps and shit when you saw it? Like, oh, not goosebumps. I got goosebumps, bro. I was
not
like,
goosebumps,
shit.
but I was hyped. I mean, I saw it and I was like, okay, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to give him a funeral and a whole... So I'm like, okay. So then this movie's going to be like a tribute to him. It's going to be like something to honor him, right? With other stuff going on, obviously, but first and foremost, they're showing you that they're going to want to honor... They're going to want to honor him in this movie.
Right.
So Mario, that's the idea that I got.
Mark, what about you, Mario? What was your first initial reaction to the trailer?
I was really excited. Like Javi said, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, how are they going to deal with, Chadwick Boseman? The situation around him. But and so we found out that obviously they're gonna kill him off in the movie. Mm-hmm. When I saw it, I was excited and I was like, okay, how they're gonna handle the death? Like how are they gonna do it? Like what's the reason why he died? Yeah. And obviously we'll get into it how we think about his death in the movie and shit. But I was excited and got me hyped.
Yeah, and right off the rip, man, the beginning of the movie, we get that. With no time wasted, we get. Right from the beginning, right from the movie, we just hear alarms and shit going off, right? Shuri's like scrambling and stuff. We're like, yo,
she's trying to recreate the herb from the first Black Panther movie. It's the herb that like you're supposed to
Black Panther.
The one where you like drink and then you get the powers of the Black Panther. Mm-hmm. So she was trying to create it, and then later in the movie, she has a conversation with her mom where she said, "I created the herb not because I wanted to protect the Black Panther helm. I did it to save my brother." Yeah. Like she didn't give a fuck about that whole how the Black Panther's a relic, like it's not real, like the ancestors are, the astral plane, like where you hallucinate and you wake up and you see your ancestors. Like she didn't believe in all that bullshit. So but we'll get to that later because that plays into something I want to say later in the review. Yeah. But she wants to recreate the herb because in Black Panther 1, when Killmonger took over as leader of Wakanda, he burned all the herbs. He just burnt them all and just let them all on fire. Mm-hmm. So she was trying to genetically recreate one to cure her brother, which I think wouldn't have worked out because the AI dude says that it was like 29% confidence rate, which is not like a lot. So even like there wouldn't have been a chance. Yeah. And then and then we see her get approached by her mom, Queen Ramonda. She says that her brother's with the ancestors. And from there, we get the whole funeral service. It's literally like the first 5 minutes of the movie. We get the funeral service for T'Challa.
Which I thought was dope.
Which I thought was really cool. Yeah. You know, the whole, like, them taking the coffin down, you know, and then, you know, the ship coming and taking it and stuff.
But the music, people are, like, dancing and, like...
Instead of it being, like, a sad and eerie tone, it was very like they weren't
like hopeful.
They were like celebrating his life in a way.
Yeah, like because they're all wearing all white. Because you know, like funerals, people are known wearing black, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in this culture, they're like dancing. You see people smiling, and the music that they're playing, they're wearing white and stuff. And it was a dope vibe, and I'm glad that they really did it like that. And then the way they explained his death was real life. Was like how they.
It was just that they just said it was an undisclosed illness.
Yeah.
It was just an illness that killed him. They didn't explain what it was, but it was a way that they like kind of took it from real life and incorporated it into the movie. Of which, let me ask you guys.
Oh yeah.
What do y'all think about that?
What?
That the writers, right, Ryan Coogler, made T'Challa pass away the same way that Chadwick Boseman died in real life.
Well, I was doing a bit of research for this podcast, and apparently Kevin Feige talked with his family and asked them. He presented the script and the idea of what, and he asked for permission. Is like, hey, this is what I envision. This is what I would like to do. Is this okay with you? And the family said it was fine. So so knowing this, the family was okay with it. So I'm like, you know what? If they're okay with it, I'm okay with it. But I'm not gonna lie, it didn't necessarily either way. If they weren't okay with it or not, it didn't really bother me. If that's what you're gonna ask, I thought it was. I don't know. I thought like it would hit more because it is what happened in real life. So it'll hit you more like, oh, like that feeling like, oh shit, like rather than he passed away because of a mission gone wrong or something, right? I thought I was like, okay, you know what, that's fine. But yeah, I did that research. I was gonna.
What about you, Mario? What did you think about that?
I'm pretty sure you said you did research to confirm it. But I'm pretty sure you told me this when we got out of the movie too.
I did.
I'm pretty sure you did because we were talking about the death, like so. Because I asked you, I'm like, what you guys think of his death, like the reason behind it. And you're like, and you said like, I think he got that Kevin got permission, but I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought, but I looked up and it's true. Yeah.
And I for this whole past week, like I was like, I just thought, I'm like, yeah, that would make sense to me. Even though I didn't confirm it, I'm like, this makes the most sense because Kevin Feige wouldn't do something like this without letting them fucking know. Like that would be an asshole thing for him to do. But no, it didn't bother me. Like I wasn't mad or anything. I know some people are mad. That,
really?
That it was like the reason why he died was so like was in real life. But
and he said some people. You know who's one of those people?
Who? You?
Bitch ass motherfuckers, Soups.
Isn't he?
Soups?
Isn't he in like drama?
Oh shit! So we're gonna be name dropping on this podcast. Okay. That man Soups.
I never give a fuck about that dude.
Did you? Hey, Soups, man! Don't listen to him, man.
Hey, let me just go off subject for like 30 seconds. Did y'all hear Soups canceled himself?
He canceled himself.
Like a whole bunch of leaked screenshots of text messages of him and shit like got leaked and portrayed him to be an asshole.
About what?
He was like talking shit about other social media creators behind their backs and some shit. I didn't look into it super hard, but
okay.
Because I don't give a fuck about him. I had blocked him from TikTok. Because it's
Javi on the podcast on the air. What if he wants to hit us? What if he hits me up? Hey man, I'd love to be on the podcast one day.
But he got canceled. But here's the thing. The reason why I blocked him is because he kept coming up on my For You page.
Yeah.
And I didn't give a fuck about his opinion. So I'm like, for him to stop showing up, I have to block him. Because I don't care. Right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I heard he canceled himself because like leaked screenshots of like text messages and
Is he saying
stuff.
crazy shit though?
I don't know. He was just talking about like...
My condolences. That's a rip, man.
I don't know. I'll look it up more, but like it's just crazy. Yeah. But anyways, he said that like he was just like, oh, he just rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, he said that for that?
He didn't like the death scene.
Yeah, he said that it rubbed him the wrong way that they took a real life situation and incorporated it into the movie.
No, well, of course, like
even though to me it's like, well, no, stupid. Like it doesn't feel like a weird thing at all. Like it would be stupid if he was like, oh, he was like motherfucker was like killed in the most like bullshit way ever. Like I don't know, like something that would disservice the actor and the character.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they gave him a more like it was just like a humble passing away. Like it was just like it was just what happened in real life. I don't know. Like to me, it didn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like whatever. But yeah, man, fuck that guy.
I mean, I can understand, right, why people might think that, just because, like, you know, some people might think, oh, like they didn't ask permission for the family, right? But either way, I wasn't too whether Kevin Feige spoke with the family or not. It didn't really bother me personally. Nope. But it is a nice touch that he did reach out.
Yeah.
You know, it shows like a bit of respect. Like, hey, this is why I envision. Is this okay with you guys? Like, if it's not okay, don't sweat it. I'm Kevin Feige. I'll rewrite it, right? You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about
Thanos.
it.
I'm an actual Thanos in real life.
Real. I'm literally the one above all.
I can literally make this script disappear with a snap.
Like this, and with the same snap, I could get my coffee.
Yeah,
that fucking guy. Oh man. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. So you thought it. Okay. So we get the Shuri thing, and you know, I kind of like I said, the whole funeral was dope, man. I enjoyed I enjoyed everything, and let's get to the part where they finally show the Marvel Studios credits, and it's just silence.
Yeah,
but then it's just Chadwick Boseman. Oh man,
that was cool.
At that moment, I knew it was like, yeah, this is
hit,
gonna,
bro.
yeah, it's gonna hurt, man.
I was like, oh.
That sucks.
I didn't scuff like
no,
in an annoyed way. I was just kind of like,
oh,
like they're really gonna do this shit. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's just the Marvel Studios like introduction instead of without the music.
And the thing was purple.
Yeah, it was purple.
Like the lining of his of the one suit that he had. So I was just like, oh fuck. I was like, damn, that's crazy. But imagine how much cooler it would have been if it was black, not purple. Crazy.
Black that would be cool. Like the letters were black, not purple.
Oh, I meant the background.
Oh, never mind.
And the letters purple?
Like stayed white.
Oh yeah, that would look cool.
Oh, I know what you meant then.
That would look cool.
Anyways, and now, after the Marvel Studios intro, we cut to 1 year later, which that surprised me. That we had a little. We had a time jump.
Yep.
So now we're at 1 year later, and we see that there is a bit of tension between Wakanda and other nations of the world, because ever since T'Challa passed away, so there were some nations that apparently are sending mercenaries to steal vibranium from Wakanda.
Yeah.
And we find out that there's an action sequence where these military guys come in to rob some vibranium. We find out that it was France's people.
Yeah.
And so we get that whole action scene where the what are those girls called? The Dora Milaje. They come in with the spears and they start whooping ass and all this shit, and they bring the prisoners or the soldier people to the meeting, to the Senate, that meeting. And she's like, we mourn the death of our king, but don't think for a second that Wakanda has lost her ability to defend themselves. I was just like, that whole scene. Dude, Angela Bassett is such a great actress. And like, she has a couple of scenes in this movie where her acting is on point. And that was one of them. Right? Where she was just like, oh, we restricted our access to vibranium, not because of like, what did she say? Like, not because of what we would... Not because of something. So she said something like, not because of something that but because of what you do. It was some weird, like, she said a line, but I can't remember what it was. But she said something, and it was like low key. It's like, you don't know what these other countries are capable of.
I think it was more along the lines like we I don't know the line either, but she's basically saying like, we're not holding it off because we want to be like, oh no, this is ours.
Oh no, oh yeah.
We're holding it off because we're afraid
of what you guys
might do with it.
Yeah,
right.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
It's
and
facts,
so
bro.
we get that whole scene, and we find out that like France's military, like these mercenary guys come in, they get whooped by the Dora Milaje. And they were like, yeah, we mourn the loss of our king, but don't think for a second that Wakanda has lost her ability to defend themselves. It's like any other acts of like this heist bullshit that you guys want to pull will be seen as an act of aggression.
An act of war, right?
And an act of, I think it's like an act of aggression, an act of war, and the retaliation gonna be hella crazy.
Malice in the Palace.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Malice in the Palace 2.0.
For real. No, Melis in the Wakanda. Melis in the Wakandan palace. I don't know.
Hell no.
But
and then so after that whole thing with the nations, we cut to the scene on the ship, and we see these people. There's some divers who get sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh yeah,
to go retrieve some vibranium that was underground. Of which, Hector, how did you feel, bro? Were you claustrophobic? Were you like, oh shit, water? Like, were you scared?
It was pretty creepy. Man. I'm not gonna lie, cause
I saw that bitch in 3D, bro.
Oh hell!
Imagine that shit.
No.
I was like, oh shit.
No man, the water is
40X,
scary,
bro.
man.
40X.
Cool. We out there floating
underwater. We're watching this movie underwater and shit. That's crazy.
No, but yeah, I thought it was. I mean, it was creepy, man. It's nighttime. You're in the butt.
Where the fish at?
For real, that's even
I'm there. I'm like, where the fish at? There's a glowing ass jellyfish. Where the
for real. That's scary as hell.
Yeah.
They got big ass suits like Master Chief and shit. They just floating in there and like, what the hell? Like Sandy's suit from SpongeBob. It's dark as hell, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck's going on down here, man? But yeah, no, I did feel like, I don't know. Even when I saw the whales and shit from Namor, I was like, yo,
that's
crazy.
yeah, I was like, yo, that shit crazy.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. The ocean, man, it's just a scary place for me.
I know, bro.
It's a scary place.
So yeah, so they send these divers down there to retrieve some vibranium,
Which we find out, I say what you're gonna say, then I'll say it.
No, I was gonna say that they
Yeah, my
they
fault.
go down there and they find the vibranium.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, cool. So we found the vibranium. Let's send the machine, because they have a machine that can detect where vibranium is. It's a very powerful machine. We'll get to that later. But they're like, okay, cool. Let's send the machine back up to the surface because it's the only machine that we have. And then as they're sending it or whatever, they what's it called?
They get attacked.
They see that jellyfish thing, and they're like, "What the fuck? That's so weird." Blah blah blah. And then on the one girl's that's on the surface, that's in that ship, they have on the screen like the vitals of both divers, and one of them just goes blank. Like there was no more vital, no heartbeat, no nothing. They're like, we just lost vitals for Jackson or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah.
It's like, give me can you turn around, tell me what's going on? And the cord is just there,
Shattered.
and the
Yeah,
motherfucker's
man.
gone. And she's like, oh my God. And she's about to scream. And then her vitals go out. And you're like,
Yeah,
what the
shit.
fuck going on, right? And then you see that one dude outside the ship. And he looks over and he's like, what the fuck? And he puts on the binoculars. And there's a head just coming out of the
that's
ocean.
creepy. That's something like
And I was like, what a head.
you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of what is it called? Night of the Living Dead, maybe? Is that what it's called?
Night of the Living Dead.
The
zombie movie?
Yeah.
the zombie movie with where like they're kind of smart. Where there's a leader and they're kind of smart. They start using power tools and shit.
Was that
Was that what it's called?
with
Night
Dave
of the Living
Bautista?
Dead?
When
No.
they were in Vegas?
This is an old movie, or I think it's called The Living Dead, or it's with a famous actor. I forgot who, but like there's a scene where the zombies have to cross the water. They're like the boss or the leader of the army, whatever. They're looking at the water and they're looking at this mall area and they're like, well, we can't swim through here. But then the boss just says, fuck it, and he jumps in, and then everyone else starts following, and then they peek their heads out of the water, and like it's a bunch of them peeking out their heads out of the water.
I don't know.
That reminded.
I don't know that movie. Bro.
I'll show it to you. But keep going, Hav.
So yeah, we see that there's like a person that comes out the water, and then a bunch of other heads come out the water, and then they start like singing these sirens, or they started doing all this bullshit. They were like singing a song. It was like very eerie and weird, and it put people in a trance.
Yeah.
Everyone on that ship, and they all started just walking overboard off the ship, and they all started killing themselves.
Shit was creepy because like they were like singing some opera shit.
And I was like, it was eerie as hell.
Yeah, that
Like,
shit was
oh
creepy.
shit, that's
Yeah.
creepy as hell. So then the two people that were like,
In the boat.
yeah, they get out and they go out to see what's going on, right? And then they get attacked by these people. I don't know what you would call them.
It's called Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
Keep going.
But yeah, then they get attacked by, I don't know what you would call them. They're not Atlanteans because DC already claimed Atlantis because they made Aquaman first. So
yeah.
I don't know what you
It
would
has
call
this
it.
actor,
Oh,
John.
Yeah, John Leguizamo.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
has.
fuck that guy.
You don't like him?
He's been doing some stupid shit recently on social media. I'll explain later.
Oh shit.
People who are watching this probably know, but yeah, I know the movie.
Yeah, so there's a scene where they go where they're trying to get to a mall, but there's like a river, And they're like, oh shit, we can't swim, we're zombies, right? But the dude says, fuck it, and he just drops and he just sinks. Right? He sinks, the zombies behind him are like looking around, they're like, yo, what the fuck's going on? And then he submerges. Like what you're describing, like those
Oh, shit.
he submerges like that. And then the zombie said, bet, he survived, let's all go. And they all jump in and then they all like appear like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'll show you the scene. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, so they get attacked by Namor's
sirens.
people. Right? First guy you see is, I believe his name is
Atuma, yeah.
So that's one of Namor's
Atuma.
like one of his people that is in the Namor comics. He comes out, starts fucking shit up, and then the girl gets away, gets on the helicopter, right? Mm-hmm. And she was able to get away, and then you see the helicopter start spinning. It starts going out of control, and then you see that there's someone on the back of the helicopter that's grabbing it and spinning it and throws it straight into the ocean.
And they died, right?
And they died.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the camera pans up, and it's someone who's floating in the sky.
That was creepy as hell.
And it was like the lightning was behind them, and you're like, oh, you know who that is? That's fucking Namor.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, what the fuck?
That was creepy as fuck. He was standing there like on some Brightburn shit. Like,
low key,
you know what I mean?
Low key.
Like it's all dark as fuck. He's all there. It's just floating there, menacing. Mm-hmm. Like yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah. So then after that, we get to Queen Ramonda and Shuri. They're out by the campfire, and they're talking about how they would need to finish mourning their brother.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the part what I was talking about earlier. This is the scene where you actually get to see that Shuri is very conflicted.
Oh, yeah.
Because Shuri was always the smart person. She was very techie. If you remember in the first movie, she created the Black Panther suit. She created the sneakers. Remember the shoes that didn't make any sound?
Yeah.
She was like, I call them sneakers. Get it?
Yeah.
So she was the tech head. She was very smart. She's very intelligent. And her mind was always like the intelligent thinking way because she's smart. And now she's being told by her mom that like, oh, your brother's with the ancestors. And, you know, she said something about like she meditated or some bullshit. And she's like, I felt a gentle but firm push and I knew it was your brother. And she's like, no, like it was just the wind or it was just a construct of your mind to create joy.
Oh, yeah, because she doesn't believe in that,
She
right?
says she didn't believe in any of that shit. So she's having a mental confliction between her like logical smart side and this like spiritual, more personal side that believes in spirits. It's kind of like in a lot of ways I don't know if I'm about to get deep right now, but like in a lot of ways it makes me think about myself because I'm kind of like I don't know if this is going to be a touchy subject, but I'm kind of the same way with religion. How like the logical side is like, yeah, right, there's evidence that the universe was created by the Big Bang, and then the religion that I grew up, which I grew up in a Catholic family, people were like, no, God created the universe and Adam and Eve and all that shit. How though? You see what like that's
right? Or
because like you go to school because it's a law. I think it's a law that school can't teach you about religion stuff.
No, you can't.
But
historic,
like stuff. Like that stuff. It has to be like historic, like stuff. So when you go to school and you learn about science. You learn about the universe and planets and like stars and all that shit. There is concrete fucking evidence that supports all that. Yet you go to Sunday church and they're like, "Oh, God created all this shit. It's crazy."
He healed my ass.
Yeah, it's like
I saw him last week.
You're like, hold on, but the evidence.
God said I was tripping.
But the evidence that we found by scientists, by people with degrees, smarter people than me, found that it's actually this. So growing up, I've always been like, is religion real? Is it not? Is it? So I've always been like agnostic. I've never been like, I don't really identify to any religion, but I like to believe there's like something out there, like karma or something. Like there's something that keeps the world in balance, I guess.
There's a higher power.
Yeah, like
but I don't know what it is.
But like I don't want to like to me it's like a guy in the sky that like
knows everything. I
who gets angry? It rains now. I mean, it's like when he's happy, it's sunny. Like I was taught that as a kid.
Yeah, I know what you're
like with all that religious shit. But then you go to school and you learn shit, and you're like, well, this conflicts with
the rain comes from precipitation.
Yeah, it's like you know what I mean. So it's like what's going on. So when I saw that Shuri was kind of going through that conflict, it reminded me of me.
Yeah,
and how I grew up with that conflict when I was like in my teen years, and I was just like, what's real, what's not, and so. I understood where she was coming from, where she's like, I'd like to believe it, but like, I'm sorry, but like logically, it just doesn't make any sense.
It don't make sense.
And so Queen Ramonda was like, oh, one of the last things in the mourning process, you're supposed to burn the clothes that your loved one wore. And she burns like a shirt of T'Challa's, but Shuri doesn't. She holds on to it. And before the scene can go any further, that's when that's when they see the elephants running out of the river, out of the water.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck? And then they see
And
a guy.
inside-
They see a guy float out of the water. With the
Tilly.
fucking.
It was Tilly. Get out of my kingdom. Shout out to Tilly, man. You're listening. Sorry, listeners. Tilly's he's a good friend of ours. But yeah.
But yeah, so we see Namor.
Yeah.
And Namor comes out of the water, and he's got the wings on his ankles, and he's flying, and he floats right up to them. And Shuri and Ramonda, they have the spears, they're ready to fight, and Namor's like, "Yo, this place is lit. Like, the air is really like clean and like, you know, blah blah blah." And so Queen Ramonda's like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, how'd you get into my country? Because you know, like they have that
Wakanda's
invisible
like,
wall
yeah.
shit. Like, you can't just get in." And this dude managed to get inside. And by the way, I saw this movie twice. They never explain
How he got in?
Yeah.
I thought he just swam in.
Oh wait,
I thought so,
isn't
too.
The wall?
But like you would imagine the wall goes underwater too.
But what if
he went
what
deep?
if it's no? But what if it's in the Wakanda barrier?
What, his city?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
No?
it's not.
Oh, then I don't know how else he could go in.
I don't know, bro. But
Oh, you're saying like he swam under?
like maybe like the invisible wall just doesn't reach to the deep sea, but he obviously can, so he just went under.
Okay,
Like I'm trying to think about it. They never explain it, but
Yeah.
you're like, how the fuck did this
Yeah.
dude get in, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, who are you? Like, you know, you came into my country. You don't get to tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, who the fuck are you? And by the way, before we go any further, fucking Namor, dude. Holy shit. We got a Mexican actor playing Namor. That's crazy. Represent.
Represent.
That's crazy.
Right? Which
It's funny because it's not the first Latino superhero that we got this year. Technically, like America Chavez and Moon Knight. But
Moon Knight is Mexican?
the actor's
He's Mexican
Latino.
or
He's
he's
Latino.
Like what? Like
But
is
I think he's from
Puerto Rican, Cuban?
He's from
Brazil,
I think he's Cuban.
He's Cuban.
And then America Chavez is like, I don't know. She's from somewhere else. But I'm talking about Mexico.
Yeah, this one.
And we got Namor, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, the representation. And then the guy who played Werewolf by Night, because he's from Jalisco.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, oh shit, a Mexican actor, right? So he's playing Namor, and the actor's name is Tenoch Huerta. And dude, Tenoch Huerta does a fucking amazing job playing Namor.
He was raw.
He is like a standout as a villain in the Phase 4.
Yeah.
You know, not because I don't know if you guys knew this, but we're at the end of Phase 4. Phase 4 is over.
It's a wraps.
It's a wraps. Because like Black Panther is the end of Phase 4. Phase 5 starts next year. So as far as like villains that stood out, dude, Namor's up there, man, with this phase. Like he was a really good villain.
Yep.
So
And he sounded like my cousin.
For real.
He sounded like Vanny. Remember?
With that accent, bro.
So how'd you guys feel about having a Mexican actor in the Marvel universe?
I mean,
Good question.
It's not the first time, but this was like the first
No,
time
but
we
he was
saw
like-
like a hero, even though he was a villain. But we
Yeah,
know in
right.
the comics, Namor turns to a good is a good guy. So like I kind of figured I knew where Namor was gonna go by the end of the movie, but yeah, even then I was just like, dude, like that's crazy. It's about time. Like that's cool as fuck.
I'm one of those where like change does scare me when it comes to these type of things. Like I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know. Is it really necessary to change his culture? Or I mean, or is it really necessary to change this person's race? I'm one of those type of guys, but I usually let it slide if it's for the better, right? So if they did this change and it just didn't work out, like his story or whatever, like the whole Atlantis or whatever, and if it was bad, then I would have been like, yo, what the fuck? But I'm open to it as long as it's for the better. And honestly, I feel like this Namor was for the better, and I don't think I'm being biased because we're Mexican, right? It's just that the whole, and I understand why I guess they made him Mexican. The whole, not, when people are gonna come at us, not Mexican, but like Mayan culture, which is still
Mayan,
which is still the first people in South of Mexico, right? We're still Mexican, I guess. Fuck, I don't fucking know. But he's like Mayan. That's like a Mayan culture type shit. And so I understand why.
That was one of the things I told Hector going into the movie. I was like, bro, like it's cool how, like when you introduce the Namor, like his people, like the way he dresses, like where they're from, it's all like Mayan inspired. So it's not just like, oh, Namor's played by a Mexican guy. Like it's like the whole race, the
Mayan,
whole
like
backstory,
Aztec.
everything was based in Mexico. And so like I'm kind of the opposite. I'm a little biased because I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
Like, I have a hero to look up to. I'm like, oh, it's a Mexican. Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things. So
no, yeah,
but yeah,
it's definitely a big step up because like I'm gonna say this, man, whether you guys like it or not, we are now just barely getting any A-list celebrity recognition when it comes to our culture, like Mexican or even Latinos, bro, or Hispanic Latinos, right? Because Latinos is more Cuba, like all South America type stuff, right? And so it's true. We rarely get any representation, man. Whether you guys disagree or not, if you guys listening who are new, everyone here, we're all Mexican. And we never complained about it. You know what I mean? We never really necessarily complained about it. We always had our heroes. We never cared. But it is really cool to see that we finally have people that come from our culture or can relate with us be in A-list movies or projects. It is really cool seeing that. Oh, shit, we get representation. And I would agree, you know, at first I was kind of debating, like, fuck, man, they're going to change my boy Namor. Because I know Namor. I know about Atlantis and stuff. I know he's not Mexican or Hispanic or Mayan. He's white and stuff, right? And I always liked his story. I was like, yo, he's cool. He's Marvel's Aquaman, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so I was skeptical at first. And even though some people were like, what the fuck, bro? You're Mexican. You got to support your bros, right? What are you doing? You got to support your bros, dude. You're Mexican. I'm like, yeah, but I am one of those people that I don't agree changing characters if it's not necessary, right? But in this case, it was necessary because they didn't want Namor to be, they don't want him to be the same as DC's Aquaman.
Yeah.
Right. And they didn't want to do that, and they didn't want to make it seem like they're copying or whatever. And so what they did, how they changed him, it literally caught me by surprise. I was like, holy shit! Like, I'm gonna say this. I feel like it's even better than the story that I know from Namor from the comic books. I really enjoyed what they did, and I accept it because this Namor is nothing like the comic books.
I was gonna say I don't know nothing about the Namor in the comics. I know generally like he's like you said, he's Aquaman for Marvel.
No, yeah,
but that's
Atlantis.
That's all I know, and that he was one of the first OG
mutants
Marvel characters ever created. Him, Human Torch, and one other person I forget.
It was him, Human Torch.
It's like one other person.
And
Captain America?
Captain America, but them two, Human Torch and Namor, they were the first two. Uh-huh. They were characters before Marvel Comics was a thing.
Right. They were timely comics at the time or something like that, right?
So but with his story, like, his story's cool. He's raw. He's a raw person. But it's definitely, the way they did it here, I thought it was better. And this was coming from a person where I was skeptical. I don't like the whole, like, sure, I want to see more Mexican representation. I want to see more representation of us because there isn't that many, whether you guys like it or not. But I am like, only if they make a Spider-Man who's Mexican, I don't want it to be Peter Parker. So kind of like with his Namor, they're making this dude Mayan or whatever the heck, but it's Namor. So I was kind of like skeptical. I was like, fuck.
And he goes, my name is Namor.
Yeah, right. But I was skeptical, but if it was for the better, then I'd be like, all right, fuck it. And so I decided to watch him. You know what? Let me give him a shot. And I was blown away, man. His performance, and I like the story better. It's definitely so dope, and it makes me think.
The backstory that he explained?
No, definitely, and it makes me think because it is Marvel and DC, man. The Aquaman and Namor, bro, the Submariner, they literally Atlantis, the same shit. So I do like that. I do understand why they changed them, and I like it better. The whole Mayan culture shit, the way they look, and actually no, even the way they dress, like the Atlanteans, or what do you call it, the
the city's called
Talocans. So even them, they even look like the Atlanteans or whatever from the comic books, the recent comic books, the modern ones. I thought that was cool. The way, dude, the the Talocans or whatever, right? They look raw, bro. They look sick. Yeah. Namor also looks sick. Mm-hmm. He looked like comic book accurate, bro. He looks so fucking dope. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they changed for the better. I enjoyed it. I was surprised, and I take back what I thought initially. Maybe I should be more open-minded when it comes to these things. But yeah, that's just how it was, and it definitely did feel good though, to be like, holy shit, like someone who's part of our culture is legit an A-list movie. He's an A-list celebrity now, right? Not none of that bullshit telenovelas in fucking Mexico. No offense, guys. No offense. Let's be real. La Virgen de Guadalupe shit, right? Like, no, that shit's hard, but like the acting, come on, it's not that great.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
But like that's what I meant. So yeah, you know, that's what I got to say about Namor, man, because he's nothing.
Shout out to Tenoch Huerta.
Yeah, dude,
for real.
He was the highlight, man. I really enjoyed his character.
I already told my mom.
Oh, you did?
I told her. I said on Thanksgiving I'm gonna give thanks to Tenoch Huerta.
Hell no.
No. Oh,
when Javi's cousins come over, this is how he greets them.
You go.
Oh yeah, with that sign.
This is a little sign.
You know, and it definitely like relates with us because I have this video where he actually came out and said that he needed to learn how to swim.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, wow.
And that's some most Mexican shit right there. Let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest. It's true. Most Mexicans don't know how to fucking swim. I'm one of them. Javi knows how to swim. I don't know how.
Really? You don't know how to swim?
I don't.
Oh wait.
You know?
Do you?
Yeah.
Bullshit. How'd you know? Who taught you?
My I think it was my sister.
Nah, bullshit. No, Javi knew how to swim because he took a class.
Oh, I mean, cool. I learned by going to the pool we have by the library.
You know bro, my school had a pool. Like we had like a swim class and shit that we took. We had to learn how to flow. We had to learn how to kick our feet. We learned how to like. You start off in the water like with the life vest, but they have to learn how to like swim and shit without them and stuff.
Yeah. So he
Did
actually
y'all school have a pool?
No, we didn't.
I had to go to the public pool.
Okay, listen. Majority of Mexicans or Hispanics or Latinos, whatever, they can't swim. Majority, right? There's only a selected few. So when I found out about this, I felt, yo, man, I love you, man, because I don't know either. But like, I have this video which I want to play for you guys, so you guys can hear. Mario, let me know if it sounds bad or whatnot. Right? I'm gonna play this video for you guys, so you guys can listen to what he had to say.
First, I had to learn how to swim. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. And then they gave me some classes, especially to hold my breath, free diving. And I'm able to do it for 5 minutes. Oh, that's good. Yeah. And I feel like a baby in the kindergarten, I need my throat. I can hold my breath for 5 minutes.
But yeah, so that was him, like, admitting that he had to take classes. And I have some other videos. I have another video with him about him, his experience of being representing Mexicans, Latinos, and stuff like that. But it's in Spanish, so like I'll just play this for people who are listening, and then we could just translate it for them. So here, guys, let me know, Mario, if it's.
Eres un cinco, eres todo esto. Entonces, ¿qué esperas que significa esto para la representación en Latinoamérica y en México para todo a quienes nos está llegando este mensaje tan importante?
Lo único que quiero es que la próxima vez que los morritos y morritas se vean al espejo, se sientan orgullosos de ese reflejo, que vean que nunca hubo nada malo en ellos, sino en los ojos que los juzgaron. Si eso sucede, estoy del otro lado.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Was that dude crying? Was that dude crying?
I think the interview dude started kind of crying, I think. But yeah, so for my non-Spanish speaking people,
Man, he tripping.
He basically, the reporter basically asked him, what's his message, right, to be racially discriminated in racially discriminated people in Latin America and all these different places. And he says that he just wants kids to be proud of what they see in the mirror, and that nothing is wrong with them. Rather, something wrong with the eyes that judge them. And so, yeah, man, I really respect that, man. I really appreciate what he's saying because it's very true, dude. There's not that many Latino, Hispanic, A-list celebrities, or especially superheroes and stuff. Right, so it was really dope hearing that, and as you heard, the reporter kind of seemed like he was gonna cry about that because it's just, But yeah, I just wanted to share those videos that I found, which I really fucked with.
So yeah, man, shout out Namor, it was lit. But where we left off was Namor basically tells Shuri and Queen Ramonda that he knows that there is a scientist who created that machine that can detect vibranium.
Yeah, dude.
And he said that
they said there's only one machine of that, right?
Machine,
yeah.
Yep.
And then he said that, I need you to deliver that scientist to us for research purposes. or some bullshit, right? They don't say really why.
To slaughter them.
Yeah, he doesn't say that obviously, or else they wouldn't have done it.
No.
But what's it called? And so Shuri goes to America with what's her name again? I'm gonna call her Michonne from Wakanda.
Right, what's her name? I forgot her name.
Okoye.
Dude, she's so cool, man.
Yeah, she's
I know,
badass.
man, but I knew she was cool in Walking Dead. Where the real ones at?
No, Michonne's raw as fuck too,
I know,
bro.
bro.
When her
Real
first
one.
introduction, when she had the two
Zombies.
the two zombies like chained up with no
Yeah,
arms,
yeah.
that was cold.
That
bro.
shit was crazy.
With
No
the
jaws,
chains, bro. With their hood up. That was raw, man.
I know.
Damn, that was so cool.
But
Shout
we
out
cut to
Michonne.
them. We cut to them going to America, and they meet up with Martin Freeman. Which I'll be honest with you, if there was a weak part in the movie, I'd say it was him.
Oh, you think so?
Because I feel like the scene, like while I didn't feel bored. I didn't feel bored when scenes with him came up in the movie. I wasn't bored. I wasn't turned off. I wasn't like, I don't care about this. No. Don't get me wrong. I was engaged the whole time. But after seeing the movie twice, I felt like his scenes could have been rewritten where he didn't have to be in the movie at all.
And just be what?
And it would just been like better, or like it still would have stayed the same. But I felt like it was their way of having him be in this movie because he was in the first movie.
Yeah.
And he played a bigger role in the first Black Panther movie than he did in this one.
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason why he
true.
was in this movie was because they wanted to show that he was ex-married with that one girl.
Yeah, that you said that she's the one setting up the Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen her in the post-credit scene for Black Widow. She recruits Yelena. Then you see her with Falcon and Winter Soldier, where she gives U.S. agent the black suit. Right? She was there for what else was she in?
I can't
I
remember.
could have sworn I saw her in a few other things. She was into some other stuff, but yeah, she's basically trying to get them all together or something like that. So it was like I felt like it was.
So you
just,
thought that whole dynamic was just like didn't need to be in the movie?
it just felt like they just had to find a way to have Martin Freeman in this movie.
Oh,
Great
okay.
actor, he's great, but I just felt like it was their way of trying to be like, huh, like what do we do with him? That's why he's not in the movie as much. If you think about it, he doesn't have that many scenes.
Yeah.
As he did in the first movie, he was straight up a supporting character.
Yeah.
He was straight up like in the movie. Whereas in this one, he was only in a few scenes, and like really, if he wasn't in the movie at all, they had just rewritten the scene where someone else delivered his lines instead of him. Wouldn't have been no different. But either way, so we get
to this college campus. We get this college campus, and they're looking for that scientist, and Shuri and Michonne, I forgot her name. Okoye, right? They find out that this scientist is a 19-year-old.
a student at this college.
A 19-year-old student.
At this, I think the college is no, never mind. I was gonna say the college is in Chicago, but it's like
no,
it's somewhere else. It's somewhere else.
I think.
Oh, okay.
But she did have a Chicago flag on the wall. That's why
She's
I got
from
confused.
Chicago, I think.
She is.
Yeah,
She is.
Okay,
Chicago.
okay.
She's a Bulls fan.
That's
what
which
Mario
is all
cares
that Mario
about.
gives a fuck about.
He doesn't give a fuck if it's a poor written character. He just cares.
I don't
For
give a fuck.
real,
Hey,
he doesn't care.
The Bulls are in the MCU. She mentioned it.
I don't know what that means.
The Bulls are the MCU. Like.
Oh,
team
they're
of
in the
Bulls-
MCU. I
Yeah,
thought you said
they're-
something else.
No, that they're in
Like
the MCU.
that was NBA related. I was like, what?
The Bulls are NBA related.
Right. I thought you said something that was NBA related because I don't watch basketball, so I don't know what he
yeah.
meant. But I
No,
didn't hear him. He said MCU.
Yeah.
What? The Bulls are MCU canon? Oh,
That's basically what he
No
said.
shit, bitch.
That's basically what he said.
What do you mean? Like, why wouldn't they?
It'd be the Toros.
Yeah, for
The Toros. That's their version.
Like imagine if they did
The
that.
Toros.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, oh, like the league didn't give him permission to use an NBA team in the movie. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. But but yeah, he's just hyped about that. But yeah, we find out that this person is Riri Williams, man, Ironheart.
Oh yeah.
Smart as fuck.
Oh, you're saying Rihanna? Yeah, Riri Williams.
That's
man.
another thing too. I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find shit. Is that really her name, Riri, or is that short for like something else?
I don't know, man. I actually
I
don't
couldn't
know.
find nothing.
So Riri Williams, man, she's a fairly new in the comic
I think
book
she was
scene.
introduced in the
2016.
early. Oh, okay.
2016.
Yeah, mid 2010s.
And no, 2016, I think.
Right, mid 2010s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Yes, 2016 and stuff. She's a fairly new character, and I want to know, what did you guys think about her?
So first off, no surprise, right? I don't know nothing about her. Same with Namor, right? Like I didn't know anything about her character. I knew that she had some connection to Iron Man because the pictures that I remembered seeing of her on social media when she was first introduced back in 2016 when I went on social media, they're like, oh, they introduced a new Riri Williams character. It was a bunch of pictures with her with the Iron Man helmet and Tony Stark with her and shit like that. So I knew there was some connection, but I didn't know too much about her. I was like, was this like a long lost daughter? Is this like a...
No, she's just a fan of Iron Man.
Right.
In the comic books, she built her first prototype suit when she was 15 by using scraps of like Tony Stark scraps like that were like in the battles type shit, whatever. And then Tony Stark, obviously, he finds out. He ends up like, yo, your daughter has a talent. Speaks with her mother. Tries to recruit her, type thing. And then that's basically what happens. That's like essentially like the whole relationship between Tony Stark and her is that he finds her.
So basically, Tony Stark and Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty much
That's
it,
crazy.
man. That's pretty much it.
That's
But obviously, we
crazy.
don't get that here. Iron Man is not mentioned once in here, except for
One little name drop.
Yeah.
And it's not even Tony Stark. It's
Yeah.
Iron Man. And it's like in a different context. Not only that, but like Iron Man's now canonically dead. So I wonder how they're going to do her story with her own TV show. Because she's getting her own show now.
maybe she was a fan of Iron Man and she was affected by his death.
It's funny too because
You know
you
what I
would
mean?
think that this movie would touch on that.
But it didn't.
But she goes through this whole thing where she becomes Ironheart.
Yeah.
And doesn't even mention Tony Stark once. So I think if they're going to mention him or incorporate him in some way, it'll be in the show.
Yeah, and like no one, like Shuri, not even anyone said, "Hey, yo, that suit looks like Iron Man. That looks like something
Right, no
Tony
one
Stark
even-
would say." I mean, sorry, that looks like what Tony Stark would do, like that, or this is honestly Iron Man. No one gave a no one gave a
said
shit.
Yeah.
No one gave a
yeah.
shit. So I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, okay. But yeah, no, so what do you guys think about her character overall?
She was cool, man. I mean, she was enjoyable. I like the actress. She
Yeah.
seems funny. She was
I think she
cool,
was
man.
the most funny in the movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Her and M'Baku.
Oh yeah,
My man
yeah, him
M'Baku.
too.
Manape. But yeah, I mean, I think she was cool, man. The actress does a good job. I looked up her Wikipedia. She hasn't been in a lot of things, so
Oh, so this is like her big like debut
like she's been in
type
a
thing.
few like small movie roles, but like this being
She's
a
the
Marvel
biggest.
movie, it's obviously going to put her on the map. And now that she's like in the
Having her-
MCU, she's going to start getting like
She's gonna have her own show too.
which is part of Phase 5. We went over that when we did the video talking about the Phase 5 slate. But yeah, she's getting her own TV show and stuff like that. But I thought it was cool, man. I mean, it was just kind of like cool. Like I liked her character, I liked the actress, and you know, it was just kind of like okay, cool. Like I just kind of not indifferent. I liked
Yeah.
it, but it's just not much that I could say more than that. You know what I mean?
What about you, Mario? You thought the same thing?
Yeah, she basically played a supporting role in this movie, so we didn't get too much for obvious reason because she's getting her own show, and that's
Yeah.
when we're really gonna find a lot about her, about
her.
who she is and shit. But yeah, I enjoyed it. She wasn't. I didn't feel like she brought down the movie in any way.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, so then we find out that Shuri and Okoye try to get her to come back to Wakanda. And so as they're on their way, they were trying to get away from the FBI. They were trying to get away from them. And while they were on the run, they get attacked by the Talokan people at the bridge.
that shit was raw.
And they come out and they have this whole fight. And so Okoye out here fighting with Atuma. And that whole fight scene was actually pretty lit.
Yeah.
Which here's my thing. I've noticed that because Marvel is Marvel and they're owned by Disney, obviously they are rolling in money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's so easy for them to be like, fight scene? CGI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so easy for them to just CGI a fight to try to make it big and spectacle. This whole fight between Okoye and Atuma, when they were just fighting with spears and shit, was all practical. No CGI. Maybe wire work. I don't know, like when they flip and they fall and
Oh,
when they
yeah.
do jumps. Maybe that's all wires like hooked up to them, but like nothing looked like CGI. Nothing looked fake. It looked like a well choreographed fight that was real and raw.
And speaking of CGI, I just want to say CGI looked raw in this movie.
Yeah, there was like
It was raw, man.
There was maybe like one scene. I'd say there's one scene where like the CGI was very noticeable.
Which scene was that?
Which one?
It was later in the movie when Namor gets mad and he wanted to like go after Wakanda. When he has that like thing, it's not a crown, but it's like a thing on his head with the feathers.
Oh,
like that shit was all CGI and it was just noticeable. But other than that, like nothing else. So yeah, there's a fight between Okoye and Atuma, and Okoye gets her shit wrecked. She gets fucked up, and then Atuma's about to kill Riri Williams until Shuri gets in the middle and is like, no, like, I am the princess of Wakanda, and I demand that you take me to Namor. I want to talk to him. And so they're like, all right. And they bring Riri Williams and Shuri back to Talokan. Mm-hmm. And Okoye has to go back to Wakanda and tell Queen Ramonda that she has failed in protecting her daughter. Yeah. And that she was like, I request to leave immediately to go save her. And Queen Ramonda's like, you let me down. My daughter is abducted. I don't know if she's alive or dead right now. You are stripped of your rank as general. I said, that was tough, man. Damn, that's crazy.
She was crying.
And she was crying. She said, but I've given everything for Wakanda, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she has that. That's another scene where I'm like, dude, she's a great actress, right? Yeah. Where Okoye is like, but I've given everything, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd give my life for Wakanda and this and that. And then the one dude in the council was like, maybe we're being a little too hasty. You know, she did point a spear at her own husband. For Wakanda, you know, she's not. It's like she's been loyal to us, and Queen Ramonda was like, I don't give a fuck.
I got no one.
I got I am queen of the most powerful country, and my whole family is gone. Have I not given everything? Like, what about me? And so it's like, you know what I mean? She's like, I don't give a fuck. You're stripped of your rank, and she just Okoye pokes the spear on the ground, walks away, and I was just like, fuck, that's crazy. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, after that, we cut back to Riri and Shuri, and they're in the cave. And Shuri goes to meet with Namor, and that's where we get Namor's backstory, which I felt was fucking badass. Yeah. That shit was lit. So he talks about how his mother was pregnant with him, and there was a god who found a flower that was growing underwater, and he brought it up because it had like special powers or whatever, like some special shit. And he grinded it into a liquid that everyone drank, and so the mom drank it, and they all faint, and they woke up blue and shit, and they had to run in the water. And they said they were able to get the oxygen from the water, and that's why they now live in the ocean, right? And so she said that the effect of Namor's mom drinking that shit is that Namor was born with wings on his feet and ears that pointed to the clouds. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but he was like, I was born a mutant. Yeah. And I said, crazy.
That was dope.
So Miss Marvel was not the first mutant in the MCU. Now it's confirmed that it's Namor. That's crazy. Now the question is, how are they gonna tie this with X-Men? So how are the X-Men gonna be mutants? Man. You know what I mean? I'm so confused. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do that shit. But either way, whatever.
Let's just start over.
Let's just restart the MCU.
Let's do what DC did. Fuck it.
Let's restart the MCU, man. Fuck it. All these years don't matter anymore.
This whole shit not canon. Imagine if they did that.
Oh, that would be.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be like rebooting Star Wars. Like, you can't do that.
Nah, I don't know.
What if they did though? Would y'all still watch Star Wars?
I don't know.
I don't know if I would.
Don't reboot Mandalorian. That's all I'll say.
No, I don't. I wouldn't mind if they said. I wouldn't mind if they said like the sequel trilogy. That shit don't exist. I'd be like, you know what?
Oh, like if they choose what's canon, what's not, like they did when they bought out Lucasfilms.
Yeah,
I guess.
Mm-hmm. But no, yeah. Shuri's down here, and then Namor says, "Hey, I want to." Basically, he explains
that he wanted to kill the scientist, Riri, and the reason he explains is like, she's trying to understand like why. And he's like, well, let me show you. And they go underwater and they go to Talokan. And that whole scene, bro, where they travel to the city of Talokan, right? And the music that's playing in the background. Remember when I looked at you and I was like, bro, this song's really catchy. Like, it's really good. I like the song that plays. I found that bitch.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
of course you did.
Because they released the Black Panther 2 soundtrack. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, Apple Music, and I listened to the whole thing, bro. And I found the song, and I was like, oh my god, it's the song that played in the, so I play that bitch on the daily.
It looked great, dude. Telecon.
Dude, that whole shit was cool. Like everyone was dressed
beautiful.
in Mayan like costume design and all that. The song that was playing, and Shuri was meeting all the civilians, right? They were kids playing games. There were people,
they're playing basketball, right, underwater or some shit. Do you see
the
that
thing with the stone, and they put it.
Oh yeah. It's not basketball, but
that's not basketball. It's something else. I forgot.
But they hit it with their stomachs and shit. And
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I thought that was pretty cool and shit.
And so she saw. Then she saw how there was this castle thing. I don't know, like this building.
Probably like the
and then
Capitol.
this this light comes up, and he's like, it's made of vibranium. I brought the sun to my people. Blah blah blah. Right. And so she realizes that almost everything in the city is made out of vibranium, much like Wakanda was. And the reason for that is because originally it was believed that Wakanda was the only place in the world that had vibranium, so it was a surprise to Wakandans when Namor was dripped out in vibranium.
Yeah.
And they were like, what's going on? And so Shuri speculates that maybe the meteor, because the world is 70% water, that maybe a meteor that contained a vibranium may have hit the ocean, and maybe that's how they got the vibranium, like how Namor's people found it and all that shit. So that's why Namor and Talokan has vibranium too.
Yeah.
And so he goes, this is why I want to kill the scientists, because what is to stop the surface people from creating machines that could lead to my city and the danger of my people? I got to look out for them. And so you understand, and you're like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
I get it. I would kill her too. Still, but no, that's the issue, right? Okay, I understand, but killing her, is that really the right way?
Right. And so later on, he also talks to Shuri about how he wants Wakanda and Talokan to join forces to go to war with the surface people.
And take over, yeah.
And she's like, you're fucking crazy. You're demented.
Yeah, low-key, Namor was tripping right there. It's like, hey, man, what the fuck? What do you mean? We got to hit them first before they hit us.
Right. And I was just like, damn bro. This motherfucker out for blood.
For real, bro.
And so she obviously declines. She's like, fuck that.
You tripping.
And then while all this is going on, Queen Ramonda goes to Haiti. And she goes and finds Nakia. Lupita Nyong'o, who in the first movie we know was Black Panther's love interest, right? T'Challa's love interest. And she had gone to Haiti. Apparently you find out that she left shortly after Thanos' attack on Wakanda from Infinity War. So she's been there for 6 years or some shit like that. And so Queen Ramonda goes and says, hey, my daughter's been taken. Can you go get her? Because you've infiltrated regions around the world for many years, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, that was in the past. That was the old me. And she's like, no, you don't understand. It's Shuri. She's been captured, and I need my daughter back.
Yeah.
And so Nakia eventually accepts and goes to New Mexico and tracks her down and goes to find her. And all while Queen Ramonda goes, I think she goes to Mexico too, but she's on the beach. And she calls for Namor, and Namor comes to meet up with her. And she's like, is my daughter okay? It's like, your daughter's fine. We didn't harm her. She asked to go see Talokan. And so she's like, if nothing better happened to her, I'm going to expose you to the press. I'm going to tell everyone about your existence. That's when Namor goes full villain mode, gets real close to her. And he's like, if you tell her about my people.
In Manny voice.
He's like, I'm going to kill everyone you love. I was like, that's crazy. I'm like, that's wild, Manny.
You send anyone. What did he say? If you send anyone looking for her or some shit, you will feel.
I will wash Wakanda.
I would bathe in the blood of your
Yeah. I bathe in the blood of my enemies. For my family.
For my fallen brothers.
Familia.
For my familia. Talokan forever. Fuck Wakanda forever. It's Talokan
por
forever.
siempre.
Para siempre. Yeah, Talokan para siempre, cabrona. You stupid bitch. Now get the fuck out. It's like, what are you talking about? This is my bitch. Oh yeah, you're right. Then he swims off. Yeah. That's basically what happened. That's basically what happened, guys. Honestly, that's what basically happened. He just threatens her. Hey, if you come looking for Shuri, man, I will. Yeah, he's like, I'll fuck you guys up.
He says something about washing the country off the planet of the earth or something.
Which he
like
could
that.
do, man.
Fuck yeah, man! All that water and shit, bro. That's crazy. That's OP.
Hell yeah.
Imagine your superpower being the ocean. That's wild.
SOP.
But yeah, and then after that, while Namor was distracted talking with Queen Ramonda, Nakia tracks down the cave which Riri and Shuri was at, and she goes and rescues her. And in the process of rescuing her, Nakia shoots one of the guards that were down there in the cave and shoots her with a lethal shot to the stomach.
I feel bad.
And they were able to get away, and they left, and they go back to Wakanda. And then Namor comes back and sees the person that was shot. And in their like native tongue, like I don't know what language you would call that, but they
Telocanian?
I think it's Mayan.
Oh right,
It's Mayan.
Isn't it Mayan? It's a Mayan dialect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because I think he had to learn that. I saw an interview where he said he had to learn that, and it was very hard for him.
Yeah, so he sees it and he's like, I'm sorry this happened to you, my child. And it sucks because I looked at Hector and it hit us hard when the girl was like, she's like, are you able to save me?
Oh yeah, can you save me or something?
And he doesn't reply. He's speechless because he's like, I can't heal you from this. And so she dies, and you can tell they hate Namor where he's like, nah, man, like
Fuck
this was
that.
too far. Like they legit. It was in a way you see it through his eyes. Like they striked first. They killed one of my people. This means war.
They did.
And Namora, who was like his like right hand person, was like, what is to stop the like? You see, they killed one of our people. This and that. What is to stop them from coming back? And that's when Namor just goes, I am.
And then I will,
and then the music goes dun dun,
Yeah,
and then everyone
bro,
gathers
that shit was so
around.
dope.
And they're like, "Rise, Talokan!" Everyone's just cheering. They're like, "I was
It's a
blinded by
raps.
hope and blah blah blah," and like we're gonna fuck them up.
And
It's
this whole scene was raw, man.
Yeah,
And then that's
This was
when
so
we cut
sick.
back to Wakanda and Shuri, and then everyone's just there, and everyone was just kind of catching up with each other, and then eventually we just see water come out of nowhere on the floor. And then all of a sudden you just hear the
Starts break- the
and then
walls breaking.
and the walls are breaking, water's coming in, and then the people of Talokan start
Wreak havoc.
invading Wakanda, and they start blowing shit up and breaking everything, and they were
Namor's flying in the air.
dude,
Shit,
that
man.
whole shit with
That was
Namor,
raw.
where he was just flying everywhere, taking down the ships, was
was so
fucking
cool, man.
fire, dude. Like, I thought it looked kind of goofy for a guy with wings on his ankles. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Well, not in the movie, but rather when I first learned about Namor.
Oh yeah.
Like when I first learned
what the
about.
fuck? You got chicken feet?
what the fuck?
What the fuck? You got chicken feet, bitch? Drum leg ass, bitch. The fuck? No, it's kind of funny though.
So, but like obviously they made it in this movie. They made it like cool where he's able to like fly really fast. Like he could just fly.
No,
really fast.
and you knew Marvel wanted you to see them bitches. You knew Marvel wanted you to see his kicks, bro. Because every single time he'd skate like this, and then the camera would show his feet. And even when he'd go up and show his feet, like they did, I saw that they did that like 3 times, I think, or 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Where like they would show his feet with his wings, and I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, we get it, man. He got his fucking wings on his ankles, bro. He out here flying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you notice that, Mario?
What?
That when he was flying, when he was like drifting type shit. Or like,
Oh yeah.
they would show his feet all the time, or when you go up, they'd show his feet.
Maybe to make like a point of emphasis, maybe
What?
like a point of emphasis, like on his feet, like to show like
You're
this-
dumb. That's not it. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, I was like, all right. That's what I thought.
He said, "All right." No. I guess you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But that's just what I noticed. It's like, oh shit, like we get it. Like you got the sneakers on, like not sneakers, obviously, but like we see you, bro. We see you. You know what I mean? Huh? I don't. Did you notice that, or anyone else notice that? Listeners, you guys listening? Yeah, like they showed a bunch of.
I didn't see it like that. I was
Well-
just like, oh, he's flying.
I mean, okay. Well, next time we ever see it again, I'll point it out. They did it like 4 times. Dead ass. Well, he was he would. You know that drifting shit he would do? Like he would stop himself like Shadow.
Yeah.
He'd be like, and then right there, as he's drifting, they would show his feet, and then he's like, I don't know how to explain it, man. I don't know, listeners, guys. If you guys probably know what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
But yeah, he ends up wreaking havoc.
At Wakanda, bro.
Yeah, the sirens pop up as well, taking out the fighter jet people or the people trying to fly those aircrafts, and then
He gets
where's that?
Oh, I was gonna say that eventually M'Baku
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
M'Baku sees him. He goes, "The fish man."
The fish man.
And then he goes,
what the fuck? That was a good ass impression of him. What? Say it again.
The fish man.
The first time was better. But the fish man. I don't know. It was pretty good. Okay, but all right. Yeah, he says that. Yeah.
But he goes and he tries to hit him with that stick shit, and that shit just breaks, and he just turns around like it's nothing. Like it was like Terminator.
Yep.
You know, like when you watch the Terminator movies and someone tries to like hit him with something. He's a robot, essentially. So like it just breaks and it doesn't phase him, and then he just goes bah and punches him right in the chest, bro.
And does it in slow motion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in slow motion.
And it just punches through the armor. And it fucks him up.
Cracks
and,
his shit.
And actually, like, takes the air out of him. And I was like, bro.
And he goes flying a couple feet.
That shit's crazy, bro. He's strong, bro. He's OP as fuck.
Hell yeah, bro. He's flinging helicopters.
That's facts. And he starts wreaking more havoc and all this bullshit. And then eventually he gets face to face with the Queen Ramonda through a glass. And he tries to spear it, and it's like too hard to crack.
But he's breaking it.
So he goes, bet. And then he leaves, and he comes back with a bag. I think it was a bag of those water bombs that we've seen in the movie.
Yeah.
And he throws them into the glass, and he cracks and crushes through it, and it explodes the room where like the throne is at, where they had the council, and it pushes Queen Ramonda and Riri back, and now they're underwater. And Queen Ramonda looks at Riri, and she's like not responding. She's
like sinking,
otherwise known as Hector's worst nightmare. And so she.
That's facts, you a bitch, Hawk.
And so she goes down there to get Riri, and she tries to swim up to the surface, and once everyone gets to the room, she's face down in the water, and you're like, oh shit, right? And so they pull her out of the water, and Namor was like, she did this and blah blah blah, like he was just giving a whole villain monologue bushit. And
no, it was badass because like Shuri gets up there, right? They're all up there, and Namor pulls a Manny. You are queen now. Remember that? Yeah. You are queen now. Yeah, and he leaves. That shit was hard as fuck. Yeah. Like, yo,
because he just said like I just
no. He also says, "Oh, if you don't listen or something, I'll bring my entire army." This was just a taste. Like,
oh yeah, this was just like a taste.
He said something like that. Like this was just a taste, like a tease, like a tease.
Warning. A warning.
Yeah, right. Like he wasn't full out. And he says, "You are queen now," like what Manny would say.
Yeah,
and he dipped.
And they fucking just drove back.
And people were listening. We keep mentioning Manny. Manny's our cousin. Is Javi and I's cousin.
Yeah.
And he grew up in Mexico, and Spanish is his first language. But his English is amazing now. But he still has that accent, just like Namor. Mm-hmm. So he sounds like him. That's why whenever we mention Manny, that's the reason why. It's funny as hell. But yeah. So that's what happens, and
then they're trying to like bring Queen Ramonda and Riri back to life, and they managed to bring Riri back. Mm-hmm. She like,
dude, she coughed up a shit ton of water.
All that water.
You saw
and
that?
Shit.
Yeah. That was a lot of water. I'm like, damn.
And so they couldn't bring back
the queen, bro. And I was shocked on that.
Yeah, and they actually,
I wasn't expecting that either.
And Queen Ramonda dies, bro.
I had no idea that was gonna happen.
Fuck. And then so there's another whole funeral service for the queen. And M'Baku and Shuri has this conversation, and she's like, "What are you doing here? Like, what do you want?" She's like, "I promised your brother that I would give you comfort and counsel if he were to ever pass and stuff like that." And so I feel like that's set up for the future. We're going to now see a big brother, little sister dynamic between M'Baku and Shuri moving forward.
I could see that.
Which I could see that because like later in the movie they have more scenes together, and you can kind of feel like that big brother, protecting the little sister dynamic between the two. I see it a lot, and I'm like, okay, there's going to be like a friendship there that's going to, not necessarily a love interest. I don't see it that way. I see it more like he's going to be like a big brother to her. Yeah. And I think there's going to be something like, we're going to see more of that.
That makes sense.
In future movies. And then one of my favorite lines of the entire movie is actually in this scene. And that is where he talks about like, oh, like your mom's with the ancestors and blah, blah, blah. And he says something about like their culture. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I think she said something like, are you going to take opinion from a kid who scuffs her own culture? Because you know how she doesn't believe in the ancestral plane or the ancestor, none of that. So you're really going to take opinion from a kid who scuffs her own culture. And one of my favorite lines is when M'Baku says, the world has taken too much from you for you to still be considered a kid. And then you think about it, and you think about what she's been through in this, and just everything. You're just like, Damn, that's true though. Like, she's not no kid no more, man. She doesn't have a dad, no mom, no brother, and she's all alone. She became Queen of Wakanda like that because her mom fucking died the day before. Like,
yeah, man, that sucks, bro. Being alone.
But I really like that line. Such a really good line because it really makes you reflect and think like, holy shit, right? It's a strong line. And so
then after that,
Shuri goes back to the lab to try to construct the herb again.
Oh,
the heart-shaped herb. Now,
and she has help with Riri too, right?
She gets help from her and stuff like that. But here's the thing. From this point up until the last like fight of the movie, I noticed something, and I'm sure you guys. I know Hector noticed it for sure. Mario, I'm betting you did too. But I start to see, because there's like a conversation that she has with Riri, where she's like, "Oh, like only the Black Panther can do this. Like we could only like the Black Panther can stop Namor." And Riri's like, "But I thought the Black Panther was gone." And you heard people in the auditorium was like, like gasping because they're like, "Oh my God, Shuri's gonna become the next Black Panther, right?" Mm-hmm. And so here's the thing. We saw this movie last weekend. Yeah. So I had a whole week to think about my thoughts about the movie. And one thing that I wanted to bring up I'm
still kind of stuck. Like for my final score.
Are you?
I'm still kind of stuck.
Oh,
man.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll get to that.
But
next time.
I had a whole week to think about this movie, and one thing that I wanted to bring up in this podcast and get your guys' thoughts on is this. So, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, obviously there was a lot of debate and a lot of conversation as to what is the MCU going to do moving forward. Because they announced Black Panther 2. So what are they going to do? And a lot of people were speculating as to who was going to be the next Black Panther, who was going to take the mantle. Now, obviously there was a lot of people saying, oh, well, Queen Ramonda, right? The Queen. Yeah. Because if T'Challa passed away in the movie, the next in line would be like, and it is declared that Queen Ramonda was the ruler. She became the queen of Wakanda, but she never took off the Black Panther fucking mantle, right? A lot of people said M'Baku might be the next Black Panther, right? Which I don't know if that would have made more sense because it's not the family bloodline. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people said Killmonger, and I was like, well, he also fucking died. Stupid. It's like, but they can bring him back, and you're stupid. You're stupid. All right, cool. You're dumb as fuck. So everyone talked about who's going to be the next Black Panther. Who's going to be the next Black Panther? And I think logically speaking, if we're being brutally honest, everyone pretty much figured out and knew that it would be Shuri who was going to be the next Black Panther. Yep. So much, in fact, that when you go and see the movie and you see her become the Black Panther, it's not a surprise. We knew it was going to go that direction. Yeah. We had a good idea, especially after the trailers. We see the Black Panther, and she's very feminine looking.
Very thin.
You're like, yeah, that's got to be a woman. It has to be Shuri. Who else could it be, right?
Yeah.
So here's my thing about Shuri becoming the Black Panther.
Yeah, what you got?
I felt like Ryan Coogler, who's the director and the writer for this movie, I felt like he knew that people would decipher and figure out, oh, Shuri's going to be the next Black Panther. Mm-hmm. I think he knew people would figure it out, and he knew that if people figured it out and went to go see the movie, that they wouldn't be a surprise. It wouldn't be like something that people would be like, oh shit, because everyone saw it coming.
Yeah.
It's like knowing the leaks to No Way Home.
Right.
Everyone saw Toby and Andrew coming. It was not much of a surprise, right? So I think Ryan Coogler knew that. So he goes, how do I make this interesting to where it could deepen the plot and make the audience feel like make the audience more interested? I know the audience obviously knows that Shuri's going to become the next Black Panther. Yeah. So how do we take that and make it more interesting so that the audience still feels engaged? And I never would have thought that what they were going to do was make Shuri a temporary villain.
Yeah.
Because she takes the herb to get the Black Panther powers, and she goes to the astral plane. And in the previous movies, we saw Chadwick Boseman take the herb, and he sees his father. And it's said that you see in the astral plane, you see the ancestor of the person that you choose And she was hoping to choose her mom, but then you see Killmonger. You see Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that shit was pretty cool.
And the reveal was like, whoa, what the fuck? And it's because Killmonger says facts. He's like,
I get shit done.
T'Challa was too noble. He spared the killer of your father. The queen was like, whatever. And it's just like, you chose me. And she's like, impossible. And it's like, no, because you want revenge. You want to go after Namor. And you want to get shit done. So what's up? What you going to do? You're going to spare him? Or you're going to get shit done? And then that's when she wakes up from like the astral plane, and she gets the suit.
Yeah.
And then she becomes a villain. Because think about it, she's out for revenge. And I even told Hector when we were watching the movie, I whispered in his ear, I go, bro, she's becoming the Black Panther for all the wrong reasons.
No, it's true.
She's going after, she has a bloodlust. She's going out for vengeance. So much, in fact, that I remember people in the audience, both times I went to go see this movie in theaters with you guys, and then the day before I went to go see it with different people. Both times people were gasping and like, oh my God. Like people were doing that in the auditorium when Shuri grabbed the Black Panther helmet. People were like, oh my God, right? Whereas with me, when I saw Shuri grab the Black Panther helmet, I was rooting against her. Yeah, I was hoping... I was more like, oh my God, Shuri's becoming the Black Panther. I was like, oh God, I hope she doesn't, because she's going about it the wrong way. Yeah, she's out for vengeance. She's out for revenge. She's becoming the Black Panther for all the wrong reasons that immediately it makes me go, holy shit, like she's kind of becoming a villain because she's letting vengeance consume her. Yeah. And she even tells later to Nakia, where she's like, you have to be honest with me. Who did you see in the astral plane? And she doesn't say anything. She ignores her. And he's like, if you do this out of revenge, it's not going to fill the void in your heart. Right. If you go about this, you can't let vengeance consume you. And she goes, it already has. And she walks off, and you're like, bro, she just completely turned into a villain.
And it's true, because during the movie, Hav, I don't know if you remember, I said, like, Hav, it's kind of bad that I'm rooting for Namor. Yeah. And it's for that reason, Hav. Like, I just wasn't super hyped that she became Black Panther because of what you said. She's not really the Black Panther, bro. She's using it for the wrong reasons.
I was rooting against her when I saw it all.
And yeah, that's why I was so like, I was like, fuck, man. Like, who the fuck am I supporting, man? Because like Namor, I can see why he's a villain, but fucking Shuri, she's tripping. She's not being the Black Panther. And then I made that connection where her suit resembles Killmonger. Remember that color scheme? Yep. And so I was like, holy shit, like that you could build that connection right there. But yeah, I agree. I completely saw that, bro, and I never felt that. I never felt that like, oh, who am I rooting for? But I was so stuck, bro. I'm like, damn, bro, like, is it kind of bad? I'm not really rooting for Shuri, man. I'm kind of rooting for Namor, dude, because I don't know, Shuri, she's what you said. She's being the Black Panther for the wrong reasons, vengeance, but yeah. So Mario,
what did you think about that?
Yeah, I was about to say like.
About Shuri becoming like
his thoughts on that?
Like a temporary villain.
No, I agree with y'all. She was becoming Black Panther for all the wrong reasons. For more hatred for more revenge than protection. Is the reason why she became Black Panther, and she, if she continues it down that path, she's not gonna last long.
Yeah, that's.
And we're being brutally honest. I think I forgot who said it, but I think someone in the movie said along like, if you continue this mission of revenge, you'll bring down others with you.
Oh yeah, who said that?
I forgot who said it, but someone said something like that. And then after that person said that to Shuri, I think later on, like the final act, when the big fighting's going on, when everything's going bad and she's about to kill him or whatever, the other Wakandians they're fighting and they're being cornered. They're about to die basically, and then we'll get to it. But like, just to make that connection, like, revenge, usually nothing good comes out of it.
No, yeah. Any movie, video games, Last of Us Part 2. Revenge is always bad, Brian. You know what I mean? Revenge is always bad. Both parties lose stuff. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. I'm going revenge mode. If I was Shuri.
It's a raps.
If I was sure you said raps, I'm ironed. I'm gonna hit up Riri. I'm the Iron Black Panther. Yo, that'd be kind of raw as fuck. Wouldn't that be raw?
Yeah, that
like
would.
an iron suit of Black Panther,
That's
kind of like.
basically what Okoye was rocking at the end with that one.
No,
suit.
yeah, I was about to mention that, but
yeah.
like, no, but the Black Panther has an iron suit,
That's crazy.
vibranium. Well, it is a vibranium, but
Ooh, a vibranium suit.
but like, no, it is vibranium, isn't it? Already?
But an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, like
that
an
has
Iron Man, like
vibranium.
hard, like yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know, but yes. So yeah, that's what you wanted. Was there anything else off that you wanted to get, that you thought really hard and wanted to get our opinion?
No, it was just that. I wanted
it's
to
just
see
that
what
one?
you guys thought about
Yeah.
her becoming that temporary villain.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, me neither.
That shit's crazy, man. And I think it took up this movie a couple of notches because it, like, not only that, but also because I made the connection that her journey as the Black Panther, like the start of the Black Panther, was very similar to T'Challa's.
Yeah.
Because in Civil War, he becomes king because his dad gets killed by Zemo. And so he goes on a revenge spree where he wants to go and avenge his father. And he takes on the Black Panther suit and he goes after Bucky because he thinks Bucky killed his dad, but you find out it was Zemo. And so it's cool that I made the connection that both their paths as the Black Panther started off with revenge. And then they both end up growing, right? So I made that connection. I was just like, oh, cool. They gave her the same journey that T'Challa went through. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it rose the movie up like
it was dope.
on a level that was like much more deep than what it already was and stuff.
So let's get to the fight scene, man. Let's get to the final. Let's get to the final battle.
final
Because
battle?
that's where it leads us, man. Shuri finally becomes Black Panther. Shuri understands that Namor is OP as hell, and with the help of Riri, her being a genius at 19,
Right.
they figure out that Namor gets most of his energy and power through the water and absorbs the water through his skin. So they come up with this plan. It's like, yo, we gotta dry his ass up,
So they convert one of the ships into like a sauna.
like a toaster.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. And they just put some heaters in that bitch. And before that whole scene happens, though, there was like a little meeting at M'Baku's like lair where they live at and stuff.
Oh yeah, right.
And they were
yeah.
talking about what's it called? M'Baku was basically arguing against Shuri that you can't go and kill this guy. Like you cannot kill Namor.
Yeah.
Because if you do, we're fucked because it's gonna cause a war. And it's gonna cause too like an internal war. Like it's just a never-ending one.
And don't they say like, oh, and it's we never, or who says it? We're like, oh, we never been a war with another force that has vibranium as well.
Yeah.
So like,
so they're like, if you do this, it's gonna cause war because you can't. And he tells M'Baku tells people, right? He's like, you have to remember that like this could cause a war. If we kill this guy, he's gonna cause a war because you have to remember that his people don't call him king. They don't call him general. They call him Kukulkan, Khan, right? And he's like, what is that? And he's like, it translates to the feather serpent god. This dude's a god to them, right? And then that one scene where the guy looks at him. And Baku's like, what? You think just because we live in the mountains we don't have access to books?
that shit was funny. And he's like, oh shit. All right.
Like,
He's okay.
Like, you
fair
got me on that
point. Fair
one. I'm
point.
tripping.
But yeah,
That was
so
actually
he's
funny.
like, we can't kill this guy because it's going to lead to a war, and your mom would not have wanted that for you. Your brother wouldn't have wanted that for you. And then Shuri's like, you speak of my family like they're still here. And it's like, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're dead. So their goals and their wishes don't mean shit anymore.
But it is tough, man. Just because, like, if you think about it, I understand that the Talokans, right? They view him as a god, but this dude killed the queen, though. That in itself is kind of an act of war. But I do understand is like technically
to him it was like
it was payback because they killed his person.
one of his people.
Yeah, and they started the war basically. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So then Shuri was like, I don't like their goals and their wishes don't matter because they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
What matters is what I want, and I want Namor's head on a spear. I think she says some wild shit, and that's where it causes them to go to battle in the middle of the ocean on a ship, and they go to battle with the Talokans. And so once Namor is summoned, Shuri goes Black Panther mode, and
she was raw.
The
way she was fighting and climbing on the side of the boat and stuff. That was pretty cool.
That whole battle I thought was really cool. There was a lot of standout moments and stuff. And so when Namor comes out, Ironheart and now her Ironheart suit comes out and she's like wrecking shit and all this bullshit, and she eventually gets Namor into the ship, and then Shuri gets in there with him, and they're in that ship, and the ship has the heaters, and it's a sauna, and he's drying out, and blah blah blah. And then Namor is trying to destroy the ship, so there's like a little fight that they have and shit. Then he eventually blows up the ship, and now they're in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Right? And then
One-on-one
this
fight
desert fight was hardcore, because like Namor, you can see how strong the motherfucker is.
Even though he's like so dried up, he's not there at all. Like, he's super weak, but yet he's still holding his own.
Because like Shuri looks around like, huh, where'd he go? And then out of nowhere he just flies up and goes, BAM! And then she hits the floor of the desert really hard. You see the cracks on the floor. You're like, damn, that was a fucking hard ass punch. And they start just fighting and punching and blah blah blah, and then they start hitting and all this bullshit, and then eventually Namor just spears her through the stomach. You're like, oh shit. And my thing is,
what'd you think? What'd you think?
As I was like, she's like there, like, oh shit, right? The spear, right? And Namor goes and he tries to walk into the ocean. To the and so Shuri was like, no, fuck this. And she takes out the claws and cuts the spear and pushes herself through. And I'm like, where's the blood?
She didn't have blood?
There was no blood on the spear when she pushed herself off.
Deadass?
I swear to God.
Really?
You think showing blood on that shit was like, would push it to rated R?
Probably, man.
Because that shit was not real. I was like, where's the blood?
Probably make some excuse that like her vibranium is like containing the blood inside the suit or some shit. I don't know.
Probably.
Like the suit regenerates the hole, but like the body, like she still walks like this with the limb, so like the body's still hurt. It's like, where's the blood at? I don't know. I was confused.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I actually never noticed that.
Yeah.
I got to check it out
So
again.
she pushes herself off the spear. She dupes Namor, and the ship explodes. And, like, I thought fucking Namor died in the fire.
Oh, deadass?
When he exploded, like, when the ship exploded, like, he was in the fire.
Yeah.
I thought he died.
No, I didn't. I didn't because, like, if they killed him, that would have been dumb as fuck.
I would have been like, really?
I would have been pissed,
Did he just
bro.
die? But he didn't, obviously. He just fell. But now he's completely dried out because this fire fucked him up.
Yeah.
And now Shuri has a spear to his neck, and she's about to kill him. And then eventually, she ends up not. Because she starts to reminisce of everything that's been going on in this movie. And I don't know if you guys caught this, but the reason why she held back killing him is because she started thinking about Wakanda. Mm-hmm. And then she went to go visit Talokan. And started seeing the similarities between the two.
And that they're both doing the same thing.
The same thing. They both had civilians. They both had children. They both had a community. They both had rulers. They both had heartbreak.
And they both just want to
struggles. And they
both want to save. They both want to be there for their people. Mm-hmm. And they both don't want the outsiders
to come in.
To come in and take their vibranium and stuff. That's another thing as well.
So she starts to make the connection that they're, I don't know what you would say, communities or their cities or whatever.
Countries.
Technically, Talokan is like, yeah, okay, we can go with kingdoms. They're not that different. And she makes the connection where she's like, you know, like, if I kill this guy, like, they're left with no ruler and, you know, this and that. And maybe
it's kind of like, bro, like, why are we fighting when the bigger threat is the people that want what we have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. And that's what they come to realize.
And so eventually, so once she starts reminiscing all this, she hears a voice and she looks up and she's back in the astral plane. And she finally sees her mom. And that was like the indication that now she is letting go of that vengeance. Because now she's seeing the ancestor she wanted to see. Mm-hmm. And her mom tells her, show him who you truly are.
Yep.
And that's when she decides to spare him. She goes like, you're going to yield. And if you do, Wakanda promises to protect your oceans. And you will do the same for us. And Namor yields. And they end it like that. You don't like that? Hector's shaking his head.
Nah, bro. It's plot armor. It was plot armor, man. Namor would have easily whooped the fuck out of Shuri, man. But it's a raps, man. She had it's plot armor, man. She just invented that toaster and that's it. That's what fucked him up. Honestly, without that toaster, it's a raps. Namor could have easily killed her, but I get it.
That was the point.
No, I get it. I get it, but that's just like, man. I don't know, man. Namor raw, man.
Oh God.
No, but I get it. I get why that had to happen. You know, they had to weaken him.
Yeah.
They had to
He was
weaken
too
him.
OP, man.
Yeah, he was too OP.
So then they yield and they call it a truce.
Yeah.
And they go back to their people, which they're still battling and shit.
Yeah, right. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
And they're like, "Hey, man, we good now." Like, let's
They
go.
all stop, right?
They're like, let's all go home. And the mine people are like, I bet.
They
And
just-
they all leave.
They start dolphin diving off the shit.
And and so and then yeah, man, that was basically it. And then Shuri goes back to Wakanda, right?
One thing I want to bring up is kind of off tangent, a little, kind of, is I don't know if you guys notice, because I've seen people saying that, like, why does it happen? It doesn't make sense. Where the Talokans, their people, how like they're blue outside of the water, but then they're normal looking people inside the water. Have you noticed that?
I did not actually.
You didn't notice that?
No.
Mario, did you notice that?
What?
So when the Talokans, the people, when they're inside the water, like when Namor was showing Shuri Talokan, there were people. The people look normal like us, but when they're outside of the water, they're blue.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
I did not.
You didn't notice that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So that's what. So yeah, bro. So while there was the whole scene where like Shuri's looking at his people, they're all normal. Like normal, like skin tone or like whatever skin tones there are, not blue. And I've noticed that. And then outside of the water, they're blue and they have their mask on for the water. And many people were like, "What the fuck? That doesn't make sense." And I thought that was because they never explained it, but I understood it. It's because the reason why Namor doesn't change blue and whatever is because he has that mutant gene. But with them, they don't. So that's the reason. When they're in the water, when they're in their home turf, they're normal. But when they're outside of the water, they turn blue, and they need to have that water mask.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed. I thought that was really cool. And my theory is like, what if, because obviously they can't breathe oxygen, what if they're blue because their skin absorbs like the water and they're holding the water in their skin with a mask, so that way that's how they get their oxygen outside. That's just what I came up with, to be honest. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know, because the flashback where Namor was explaining his story, he explained that his people, when they drank that shit, they woke up and they were already blue.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So I was wrong on that. But either way, I forgot about that. But either way, they still change. They still change They still changed the color which I noticed.
I did not notice that actually, bro. That's crazy.
You saw it twice. You didn't notice?
Nah, bro. I was too busy looking at Riri, man. She's looking kind of fine.
Who, Riri? The Ironheart? You said you named a bunch of chicks in there fine. you said Riri was fine. You said the girl Chadwick Boseman's love interest was fine. You even said the queen was fine. Like he was just going at everything, man. What the fuck? Oh, man.
And then Hector was looking at M'Baku like,
hey, yo, yeah, chill, boy, chill. You tripping? But yeah, that's what I wanted to mention about that. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, and then so Shuri goes back to Wakanda and everything's chill, right? Then we come back to Namor, and Namora was like, I looked forward to fighting alongside you all these years, only for you to yield, like you a bitch. And then Namor was like, the Black Panther is one of the most powerful people in the world. Like she had every reason to kill me. She spared me, which shows like that she could have easily killed me, but she chose to spare me, and now we're cool. And if Wakanda were to ever go through anything, they will turn to us for help, and we're going to be there for them, and vice versa. Like if we face something, Wakanda has our backs and we have their backs, and that showed that Namor turned good, and now he's a good guy.
Wait, no, how? Because doesn't he say, oh, and then that will be our chance. When they come running to us for help because of the surface world, that'll be our chance to take over. Right, Mario?
Yes,
he says that.
Yeah, he says something that's like, "Hey, when this happens, we'll fuck him up," or like fuck him over.
Yeah, basically, that's what he says, bro.
Yeah.
No, Namor is an anti-hero, bro. He's not a hero.
Yeah, he's an
anti-hero. He was a villain first introduced, but then they made him an anti-hero. Actually, if anything, Namor in the comic books, like he's an anti-hero and he hates humans. But so yeah, but but yeah, he's kind of, I guess he's a hero in a way, but he's anti-hero. He does good, does bad. He does what he wants, and that's what he was showing in this film. And even at the end, like, right, Mario, he says something like that. He says something like, "Oh, when they need our help from the surface world, that'll be our chance to take over." Mm-hmm. So it still shows, like, holy shit, this man, like, still has that intentions. I don't know if you remember.
Nope.
Oh, well,
that's crazy.
Yeah, we'll look it up after this. We'll see what's up, because you remember that. I remember what I just said right now, so we'll look it up. We'll make sure. We'll see.
And then after that, we see Shuri go to Haiti and visit Nakia, and she goes to that fire and burns T'Challa's clothes, and decides to move on in the mourning process. Yeah. And that whole scene where she's like mourning and it's all quiet, and you see like the silent flashbacks to the first Black Panther movie and all that.
Yeah.
That shit got me, man. I was like, oh, fuck, right? All that shit. And then
bro.
The Rihanna song starts playing.
It's just the silence. Yeah, that shit.
And then roll credits, man. And that was Wakanda Forever. And then we get the post-credit scene, and it turns out T'Challa had a son. And that's crazy, bro. Yeah. That's wild. He was survived by a
Thank
child.
God they did that, because, like, I was telling Hector on the car ride home that I was like, bro, like, I was really afraid that they weren't gonna answer what the mom was gonna say to Shuri.
Oh yeah, did you?
Because remember when they were at the lake and they were having that moment? She's like,
with the elephants.
Like with the elephants before that happened. She's like, Shuri, I gotta tell you something about your brother. And then they get interrupted, and the whole movie goes by. I'm like, bro, they're really not gonna answer that. And that end credit scene was what she was gonna tell her. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, thank God they did that, because I'm like, what the fuck was she gonna tell her? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was a cool. That they're setting up for the future, obviously.
I don't know about that, because the kid's really young.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about
this kid's like 5.
Well, I'm not talking like the next movie's gonna be him.
I mean, we've seen a 5-year time jump with the blip. You know, like it could be, you know what I mean? So we could have 3 or 4 years, like in real time, of movies, and then who knows, in that 4th year of movies, boom, another 5-year jump. And boom, T'Challa, 19 years old, 20 years old, Black Panther.
I mean, we'll see.
So, like, no, that's what it is. That's what they're setting up.
Because
here's the thing. They're doing, it's what they did, it was smart, because they can't just recast T'Challa, because people were, you know, the whole, we just explained it why, right?
Right.
So what they're doing is they confirmed, this is T'Challa. It's his recast, T'Challa. It's his son. So it won't, so yes, it is T'Challa, but it's not. And they did it in a smart way where it's his son. Mm-hmm. So he's the future. He's going to be the next Black Panther that's going to lead. Right now, Shuri is temporary for how many years. Mm-hmm. But eventually, this guy will be Black Panther. And you said, oh, but he's 5. You know, like I said, in 4 years real time, Shuri could be whatever. But then, you know, we've seen time jumps aren't no different. We've seen a 5-year time jump with the blip. 5 year. Who knows? 4 years from now, real life, they could do a 10-year time jump. And boom. T'Challa's 18 years old, 19, 20. That's the age of him being, that could be a Black Panther. So we just have to wait and see. But no, I think it's definitive. Like, this is going to be the Black Panther in the future.
Yeah.
Shuri right now is just temporary.
Yeah.
And they did it in a smart way, with recasting him technically,
through his son.
But still honoring him.
Yeah, it's through his son.
Yeah, so they did I thought that was smart. That's what I thought. Or what? You didn't think that?
No, I just thought, oh, he had a kid. Cool.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it also flows perfectly with the comic books, man. Like,
I don't read the comics.
Well, all right. So you just thought it, but I don't know. Come on, Hav. You just thought it was okay. That's just his son. He's like, you didn't think once. Oh,
he's gonna.
This
have
is
a
the future
child?
Black. Yeah, this is the future Black Panther.
I mean, if you were like, I knew we were gonna wait a fucking long time, because the kid's 5 in this movie. You know what I mean? He's young as fuck. So I knew if he was going to become a Black Panther, we're gonna have to wait a while for him to age up. You feel me? So I don't know. That's why I was like, whatever.
Years. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a couple years. It won't. I don't think it'd be like a decade, bro. I don't think so.
It's not gonna be 10 years. Hell, that's way too long.
They'll do a time jump like what they did with the blip. They did a 5-year time jump. Like no big deal.
Knowing Marvel, bro, it's only a matter of time.
Who knows? Maybe after Secret Wars, there'll be a time jump.
Who knows?
You know what I mean? That's at least that's what I. Okay, so you thought it was your son, Mario. You and I, we immediately thought, yeah, this is the future.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, oh, this is set up for the future.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, so we agree on that. So
It was cool.
and I thought that was pretty cool, man. Like they did a good job on that. Still honoring Chadwick and still recasting Black Panther, T'Challa, flowing well with the comic books. I thought it was a perfect setup. And this movie, like, they really set it up really well. Namor was dope. Their acting was dope too. You said I remember you told me the pacing was better the second time you saw it.
Yeah.
You said the first time it was not good.
The first time I felt the runtime.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I saw the movie, I felt like, holy shit, like this movie really is dragging. Like I feel that it's almost 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
But the second time I saw it, for some reason, I felt like it flowed better. I didn't feel the runtime. I actually felt like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's his pacing is a lot better than I thought. But yeah, I mean, other than that.
Oh, okay.
So Mario, you wanna start with your rating, and then we'll go with you have.
Yeah, sure.
Hydra wants to go last because he's still stuck.
Yeah.
Hell no.
That's crazy.
I'm stuck.
I mean,
because so far we haven't even mentioned anything that was really bad.
no, not really. There's really no negative. I
Like,
mean,
if you really think about it, what is
I'm
something that was bad in this film?
I don't know.
Because personally, I didn't like the whole pacing. I didn't
I'm just
feel that.
I'm just comparing it to the first one. If I'm being honest.
Oh,
with you.
I mean,
that's what I'm doing.
That's a tough comparison, dude.
But it's the only comparison you can make. Really?
You're right, man.
It's the only one you can make.
Black Panther was raw as fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
But either way, like, don't compare it to that. Like, just out of 0 out of 10, bro. Like, what'd you think? Like, because I'm still stuck on it. Because, like I said, we never really mentioned anything major.
Right out the way, I wasn't like blown away or anything. I wasn't like, oh my god.
Oh, I mean, all right.
I'm just being real.
Then again, this
like,
movie wasn't meant for that.
That's what I'm saying. I
wasn't
wasn't meant to be.
Oh my god, is Endgame type shit.
Yeah, or Secret Wars or Kang Dynasty.
But like, this is a very well done, well written. Everything. I think every decision that was made here was the right one to make. I like what they did with Namor, making him an anti-hero. Finally having some, representation and from us being Mexican. What they did with the Black Panther and Chadwick, how they handled it, I think that was the only way to handle it. To handle a real life actor's death is a very difficult thing to handle, or a very difficult thing to challenge, basically. Mm-hmm. And I think they did it the only way I think you can do in a movie that at this level. I love the fight scenes. I think my favorite fight scene has to be the one on the bridge, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. That shit was raw.
Dude, I'm telling you, that shit was fire.
with the Tuma in there?
Where it was like all like the least amount of CGI, and that shit. I think the choreography was incredible. That being said, I think I'm gonna give this one a solid 9 out of 10.
Damn.
9 out of 10. In my mind, the first Black Panther is a 10 out of 10.
That's crazy.
I
You
love
give
the
the first Black Panther 10 out of 10? Huh?
The first one?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't remember that much.
I gave it a 10
It's been
out
a
of
minute,
10.
bro.
Dude, I've only seen it once, actually.
Me too.
No, I've seen it
only
twice.
seen it once.
But I remember when I saw it, it was raw, though.
I do too.
I was blown away, bro.
I do too. I'd have to rewatch it before I rate it again. I'm gonna be honest with you.
No, it was, dude.
I'd have to rewatch the first Black Panther movie so I could rate it. I remember liking it.
No,
a lot.
I loved it. I fucking loved it.
Right, me
was
too.
great.
But like, I need to rewatch it just to refresh
No,
my
I
memory.
get you. I know what you mean. But yeah, that 9 out of 10 for me for the sequel. It's a very good sequel. A good sequel.
9 out of 10.
That's crazy. What are you looking up?
I'm looking up what Namor was saying at the end.
Oh,
I'm trying to find it.
but what's it called?
What you think, Hob? What out of 10?
What do I think, bro? Shit, man, trash movie.
It's a trash movie.
Okay, so listen, I felt this movie was really, really good. I think it's a great movie. I think it did a very good job paying tribute to Chadwick Boseman. And I give all the props and all the respect to Ryan Coogler, right, the director and the writer, for taking his idea for Black Panther 2, scrapping it after Chadwick Boseman's passing.
I wonder what it was.
He explained.
Oh, what was it?
He said that Black Panther 2 originally was supposed to be a movie focusing on T'Challa's struggle to being king. Yeah, like he was going to explore more like how he's the king of Wakanda and how he was going to struggle.
Was Namor going to be in it?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know, to be honest.
That's probably changed everything up, the villain, everything. That's my guess, though.
Okay, continue. Was that it? Just that he said?
No. I said I was gonna give props to Ryan Coogler for.
No, I was talking about like, was that it? Like that he mentioned about that.
I just skimmed the headline of the article. I didn't look into it in depth.
Okay.
But yeah, he said it was gonna focus more on like T'Challa being a king,
right? Okay.
And like the struggles that come with that. Now, which would have been interesting. But yeah, I give props to Ryan Coogler for pulling it off. I knew it wasn't easy to construct a sequel and a story, especially the passing of a. Because you have to remember that like we see Chadwick Boseman as an actor, but everyone working on this movie saw him as like as a friend, as a close friend. Okay. So for them to make a movie without that friend, what?
It's because he said as a family. You said no, bitch, a friend.
No, I didn't say no. I didn't say no.
That was essentially what you meant. He said Mario's like as a family. You said no, bitch, friend. Oh.
I guess
Mario felt that way.
But yeah, like I knew it was difficult, and I give the props. I give props to Letitia Wright.
Yeah.
Because she had to take on a very difficult role, where she went from being a side character and she had to become now like a main character. I knew that was pretty tough on her because I knew that that's not something she signed up for originally.
That's true.
She didn't sign up to wanting to be a main character. She was just originally going to be the sister, the side character, and that was it. So I give props to her, to everyone on the set. I felt like this movie tributed Chadwick Boseman correctly. Mm-hmm. And as far as, projects that were in Phase 4, again, this ends Phase 4, right? Mm-hmm. And this is up there, I feel, with...
I think this was Shang-Chi.
I think this movie's up there as the best that I've seen of Phase 4. Mm-hmm. It's up there with like No Way Home, Shang-Chi,
and that's it.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, the show, yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like as a movie, I think Black Panther stands out the most. Mm-hmm. I think, call me biased, call me whatever, but I think I like No Way Home more. Just because the story I felt was better. And
wait, you thought the story of No Way Home was better?
Like,
whoa!
It was like
hot take.
I just felt like the journey for Peter, was what I wanted to see and shit like that. So I don't know. And then there's a lot of stuff about that movie that I really liked.
And what would you rate No Way Home?
I would give No Way Home.
Did you say a 10? 10 out of 10?
I think I'd give it like a 10, bro.
10 out of 10 for No Way Home? Damn.
Yeah, I really like that movie, dude.
Damn.
And but I felt like as a movie, I think I prefer No Way Home more than Wakanda Forever, but even I can admit that Wakanda Forever was a better film than No Way Home, and that's why I think Wakanda Forever is a 10 out of 10.
Damn. That's tough. Because you did make good points. I mean, I personally think this movie was better than No Way Home.
Ooh.
Yeah, suck on that, Hav. Suck on that. Real good. No, I mean, No Way Home was lit, bro. No Way Home was good. It's just I felt like there were I don't know, No Way Home was good, but I just for some reason I feel like this movie is a lot. I just enjoyed this one more. And I mean, I love Spider-Man. Who doesn't like Spider-Man? You know what I mean? Who doesn't love Spider-Man, dude? Come on. Everybody loves Spider-Man. But it's just I felt like the most deep I enjoyed the more deeper connection in this film. The whole Chadwick and stuff, and the whole inner struggle between Shuri and Namor was amazing. Like the visuals, the action scenes. I don't know, man. It's really tough, man. So Mario, you give it a 9. Javi, you gave it a 10 out of 10, which is that the Javi seal of approval. 10 out of 10, the Javi seal of approval.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
He never gives 10 out of 10, so that's tough. Fuck. Cause this is what I was stuck at, right? I'm still stuck. Is that what did I say when we got out the movie? Did I say a 9?
I don't know.
I forgot.
I forgot, right? I think I was stuck between a 10 or a 9.
Okay.
That's what I was stuck. And I was hoping that in this movie we were going to talk about some issues that we found that could help me make my decision, right? But we didn't really talk about any issues, right?
It's not to say there weren't. I mean, if you saw that there were some things about the movie that you considered flaws that we didn't see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just can't remember. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. But this is tough, man. I don't know how to. This is actually tough for me. It is actually really tough.
Like, just say 3 and end it.
Just say 3. No, because this is really tough, man. Because I'm very picky as well when I give 10s, and I'm not sure. I think I have to rewatch this movie to really know. But for now, for what I know, I think I'm gonna give it a 9. 9 out of 10. I gotta watch the movie again, and then maybe this score will change. If it does change, I'll update you guys in future episodes. But yeah, I think I need to watch it one more time to really understand it. But yeah, I think it'd be a 9. So I think that's everything we got to say, right?
Yep.
Without further ado, man. We just finished. So thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, you guys can check us out anywhere on social media. Our at is at Heat Vision Podcast. You guys can listen to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, Google, pretty much all those platforms. And thank you guys so much for listening. And remember, don't let your past haunt you guys. Take it easy.
Peace. Yep.